Now let's look at the industry environment and the five forces, bargaining power of buyers being the first one. Aerospace industry was estimated to be around $838 billion as of July 2018. And Pratt and Whitney being one of the major product manufacturers, there are several competitors to Pratt and Whitney, which is a clear benefit to buyers. And customers deal with major manufacturers, which also in turn deal with suppliers. And there is typically a high level of competition between the major product manufacturers because most projects are heavily bid by these companies, which in as a result gives a high bargaining power for buyers. Bargaining power of suppliers is high as well due to the fact that the aerospace industry has added a lot of rules and regulations since 9/11. On top of the fact that the industry by itself is dealing with life safety concerns and heavy regulations. Thereby, the suppliers will have to adhere to these codes, and the costs are not as variable as it would be in other industries. So clearly, the suppliers have a high bargaining power. Threat of new entrants is pretty low in this segment due to the fact that it's a commercial aerospace industry and new aeroplanes and engines require heavily invested facilities and labor force. For example, a 100-seat airplane would cost around $3 to $4 billion to develop, whereas an 800-seat airplane would cost around $10 billion to develop. And the fact that the aerospace manufacturing has a long learning curve with respect to the fact that the complexity of the assembly and testing of operations and high-tech labor requirements make the threat of new entrants to be low. Now, threat of substitute products is also low because of the fact that once the contractors have built something for a specific airplane, the requirements are very unique with respect to the speed and ability of the airplane to travel over water. And the fact that once it has been built to perform, the upgrades performed by companies like Pratt and Whitney are not easily reproducible by others because, again, it takes a lot of investment. But the threat at the part and component level from a supplier standpoint exists because new material technology, for example, can just make the materials that was previously used obsolete, and that could make the construction of airplanes and engines change over time. Interfirm rivalry between major manufacturers such as Pratt and Whitney exists, and it's pretty high because General Electric being one of them, Rolls-Royce, and CFM International being other competitors of Pratt and Whitney. They're all equally balanced. They have very little differentiation, which increases the severity of competition. Competition is also fierce due to the fact that the power of buyers is high, and firms desperately seek to win large orders from airlines to try to recover their high fixed costs. Pratt& Whitney services several markets, such as global aerospace market, the defense, and alternate power systems. Some of the products that Pratt& Whitney manufactures are commercial aircraft engines, military jet engines, business aviation engines, helicopter engines, auxiliary power units, to name a few. And the services that Pratt& Whitney offers are engine repairs and overhauls, and automation and customer training. Pratt& Whitney has multiple locations. The company operates both in the United States and outside the United States. It's headquartered in Connecticut, and outside the US, company-owned centers are in Japan, China, and Turkey to manufacture engine parts, distribute aftermarket parts, and repair engines. The company, Pratt& Whitney, has several key resources, but I would like to highlight the fact that the highly skilled labor force that the company has, which is over 38,000 employees, is one of the most critical key resources that the company has. Employees are critical to the success of the company because they are involved in every process of research and development, manufacturing, and marketing of the company products. And the other key resource that Pratt & Whitney has are the facilities, the assets that the company has. Engine overhaul and parts repair centers that the company has are a key resource that I would like to highlight here. The company has clear capabilities when it comes to manufacturing of niche products for the aerospace industry, but it's also renowned for its success in creating new products that use revolutionary technology to improve performance, reliability, and efficiency. For example, Pure Power family engine reduces fuel consumption by 15%, which was developed by Pratt and Whitney, and it extends the plane's range by 500 nautical miles. This is a product coming out of the research and development that the company has put forth. Company has several strategic partnerships with stakeholders, including competitors. An example would be the V2500 engine that was designed and manufactured by the International Aero Engines, which is a global partnership of aerospace leaders, including Pratt and Whitney, Japanese Aero Engine Corporation, and MTU Aero Engines. These partnerships improve the capabilities of the company and increases its operating efficiency, along with the fact that it's able to combine its individual capabilities and share risks and returns with its competitors.